The Love of My Life, Sandra Detamore's tribute to a country music icon on the morning of Thursday, the 6th of August, 2026. A short Facebook post from a woman named Sandra Detamore began quietly making its way across the country music world. It wasn't a press release, it wasn't a record label statement, it was a wife writing about her husband. It is with a broken heart I share that my husband of 41 years, Tommy Detamore, went home to be with the Lord yesterday. That husband was Tommy Detamore, country music producer, mixer, mastering engineer, and steel guitar Hall of Fame musician. He'd passed away suddenly the day before, on Wednesday the 5th of August, at the age of 70. This is his story, told largely through the words of the woman who knew him best. Sandra's post made one thing clear immediately. This wasn't something the family had time to prepare for. She described the loss as so sudden, and as of now, no cause of death has been made public. What she did share was how she wanted him remembered. Not just as a musician, but as a whole person, a respected musician, producer, collaborator, mentor, and creative force in country music, she wrote. And then, more simply, not to mention the love of my life. She added that his work has and will always leave a lasting mark in the country music community, a line that once you understand the scope of his career, turns out to be exact, rather than exaggerated. Before we go further into Sandra's tribute, it's worth understanding exactly what kind of career she was mourning. Tommy Detamore grew up in Charlottesville, Virginia, playing in local bands through high school and college. In the late 1970s, he took up the pedal steel guitar and began studying under the respected musician Buddy Charlton, serious training, for what would become his defining instrument. In the early 1980s, he moved to Texas and soon joined the band of country star Mo Bandy, touring the United States and Europe for 7 years and appearing on some of country music's biggest stages and screens, including the Grand Ole Opry, Hee Haw, and Nashville Now. Eventually, Detamore shifted his focus toward engineering and producing. Over a career spanning more than 3 decades, he worked as a producer, musician, mixer, and mastering engineer for a remarkable list of artists, from established legends to rising stars, building a reputation as one of the most trusted hands in country and Americana recording. What makes his story particularly striking is how active he remained right up to the very end. Just days before his death, on the 25th of July, Detamore posted on Facebook thanking the Cowtown Society of Western Music for honoring him with a Hero of Western Swing Award at a ceremony in Wichita Falls, Texas, an honor he couldn't attend in person, accepted on his behalf by his friend Michael Marquardt. And earlier still, on the 8th of July. He'd been reminiscing publicly about his musical roots, writing about how, before the steel guitar overtook him, he'd been a devoted Allman Brothers fan, playing in a band in the early 1970s that covered nearly every song off one of that group's landmark albums. It's a small window into who he was outside the Ursum, still posting, still remembering, still being honored. Right up until his final days. Sandra's post wasn't only a tribute, it was also an honest look at what comes next for the people left behind. She shared that the sudden loss had left her, their son Thomas, and the staff of their Drama Kids program trying to work out how to properly honor him. She asked for continued prayers for herself, her family, and their staff as they figured out how best to celebrate the man she affectionately called her Steelman, a nickname that speaks to exactly how much his life's work was woven into their marriage. She said she and their son take comfort in knowing that Tommy is at peace, and that his music will live on forever, and she closed her tribute with a note of faith, thanking God for the years she'd had to love and be loved by Tommy, and expressing hope that one day she would be with him again. A legacy larger than one post. It's worth stepping back briefly to understand just how far Tommy Detamore's influence actually reached, because Sandra's tribute, heartfelt as it is, only tells part of the picture. In 1991, Detamore founded Cherry Ridge Studio in Floresville, Texas, which became a genuinely sought-after destination for artists chasing an authentic, unforced sound. Working out of that studio, he collaborated with names like Ray Price, Ronnie Millsap, Johnny Bush, Jim Lauderdale, Doug Sahm, the Texas Tornadoes, Robert Earl Keen, and Sonny Sweeney. And his influence extended right into the current generation too, having served as mastering engineer on rising artist Ty Myers' breakout 2025 album, The Select. The recognition followed accordingly. In 2001, he earned a Grammy nomination for Best Country Instrumental for his work on Bill Kirchen's Poultry in Motion. In 2008, the Academy of Western Artists gave him the Will Rogers Award for Record Producer of the Year, and of course, he was inducted into the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame, the clearest possible recognition of just how far he'd taken an instrument that takes a lifetime to master. Sandra Detamore didn't need a press release to explain who her husband was. She said it in a handful of sentences on Facebook. A respected musician, a mentor, a creative force, and, above everything else, the love of her life. But those words carry weight precisely because of the 4 decades behind them, a career built from a small-town bandstand in Virginia through years on the road with Mo Bandy, and into a Texas studio where he quietly helped shape the sound of modern country and Americana music one record at a time. Tommy Detamore is gone, but as his wife said herself, his music will live on forever. Rest well, Tommy.